What's going on, everybody? We had some questions sent in, so I wanted to go over those because these are common questions that a lot of people have about doing their own studio and some other things. So we're going to answer those today and get to it. Hey everybody, Scott Hogan coming at you. We're here, we're in the studio, still working on getting this garage studio set up and finished. So excited to keep showing you that progress and appreciate the feedback we've had on it. So I think it's gonna help do things a little bit easier and again, show you something of how you can use a space similar to what maybe you have at home. Now, one thing, tomorrow, we've got the Garmin R10. It will be arriving tomorrow. So Wednesday's video, we're gonna be going through it a little bit. And then after that, we're gonna do a video. We're gonna start comparing it a little bit to some of these other launch monitors. So make sure you click that subscribe button. Do not miss out on that. All right, so had 2 questions sent in. And again, these questions get sent a lot. So this is from subscriber Dale. Thank you, Dale, for sending in your questions. And I'm going to just pull those up and read those to you. The first question he had was about doing a studio setup. So he currently has a setup where he can hit and swing, but he can only hit the foam golf balls, or like this is a Sycor ball or About golf balls, and he would need to do a little bit of investing to be able to upgrade and be able to hit a real golf ball. He wants to know if that's worth it, if that's something that's going to really drastically help his game, which I think is a very, very good question. And then the second question he had was actually about online coaching, because that seems to be where things are going. I do it, obviously. I have my programs. I also do take online coaching lessons. So he wanted a little bit of feedback about that as opposed to doing in-person stuff. So let's start with that first question, though, that investment in building out a garage studio setup. So obviously, for me, it works out because I do this as a profession. I do this as a career. And, my hope is to teach out of here because, again, concerns with other things going on in the world. And you know what? Hey, if we can do this and save on the cost of having a studio space and all that, that helps. Now, when you're at home, let's talk about using like an About golf ball, or again, this is Sycor, which is very similar. So the thing that I found, I've tested these a little bit and have done some videos in the past. I'll link those somewhere up here. But what you're looking at with those golf balls is they're very, very good to a point as far as your yardage and things like that. So like if you're working on wedges, you're going to be able to hit a shot and, like 50 yards, I felt like it was actually pretty good. If you're hitting shots that start getting longer, and the longer you go, the less accurate you're going to get on that front with these golf balls, because there's no compression to them like you get on a regular golf ball, the hard firm that you get where it can bounce off the face and stuff like that. So, you're not going to be getting dialed in on some of those types of things, some of those numbers. Now, what can you do? If this is your only option, what can you do with a foam ball that's going to improve your game? Well, I think in the winter time, there's a lot of things that you can do as far as working on your swing. What I would have paired up with using these is I would have a live view camera, and I would have that all the time running. I would be working on the feedback of my swing and what it looks like, and making sure I get it to look like what I want it to look like. And then from there, I can also hit shots and realize if I'm hitting the middle of the club face or not. You can do that, get a little foot powder, a little foot spray, throw it on there. You're going to be able to tell if you're hitting the ball in the middle of the face. And then also you're going to be able to tell if you're making good contact if you use a little bit of a T-drill or something like that. You can do those things. And, hey, that's going to be a lot of what you need to do in the wintertime. Now, what are you missing when you are practicing with this? What would you get out of paying to upgrade a space to be able to hit some shots? Well, let's think about what you would need. Well, the first thing you need is very good netting. If you're going to start hitting real balls, you want to have very, very good confidence in your netting that it's going to stop the ball. You don't want to be thinking, oh, this might go through. So I have the netting, I have the impact screen, I also have netting on the ground, I've got pool noodles back there. I'm always bracing things and thinking about what could happen, not what is happening. I'm looking at everything and saying, where could this ball possibly go and what would happen if that happened? So you have to invest a little bit in that. You also, if you're going to get the real golf balls, do you want to get a launch monitor with it? Is that something that's worth it to you? Now, for me, I love doing it because what we love to work on is learning how to yardage gap, how to get your clubs dialed in. I think that's a huge deal as you're starting to practice. I also think it's very helpful to play. I think it's very helpful to stay engaged through some of the games and stuff that you can do when you have a launch monitor. And another thing that I think is really important when you're practicing and you're able to hit a real ball and you're hitting shots is the sound. You actually can hit a ball. You get to hit this thing and hear a really, really well-struck shot. You get to feel a really well-struck shot, and you get to correlate that to, hey, it's going this far. This is what the flight looks like. All of those things I think are extremely important when you are practicing. So if you're just practicing with a foam ball and you're not kind of getting that feedback, what you're going to need to do is when you get to the season or when you go practice outside, you're going to have to go out and spend time kind of doing that at the real range. Now, even if you have a Mevo Plus or if you have a SkyTrack, whatever, if you have a launch monitor, I still think you have to spend a little bit of time at the range, just from the standpoint that, it's different when you're hitting a ball off grass and you actually see it fly. Like if I'm going to play around, I need to be very comfortable with what it looks like in real life. I can't just, look at it and see the ball flying on a screen. But I don't need to do that much as I would need to, really get comfortable with hearing a shot, feeling shots, and seeing if everything works. So I think there's a little bit of a, hey, I might practice all winter using these and not really know if things are working. But again, if you have some of the feedback tools like Live View or, Foot Spray, stuff like that, you can get a really good idea of what's going on. Now, should you do it? Should you upgrade it? Is it worth the money? That's going to kind of depend. That's going to depend on what your financial situation is. I would say, obviously for me, I can see some return on what I'm doing. If it's something where, hey, this saves you the opportunity, to go to like a dome and you don't have to spend money going there, which those are getting more and more expensive, $30 to $40 an hour. And if you're really serious about improving how much you should be hitting balls and practicing, you should be hitting balls a couple hours a week at least, right? So you would think, all right, hey, I would be spending this money somewhere else. It's just not so upfront. That's one thing I think about. The other thing I would think about is, where are you trying to get as far as, being good at the game? What's your goals? What's your goal at the game? What are you trying to accomplish? You obviously will expedite the process with that investment. So again, it kind of depends on where you go at. You can be effective with these. I don't think you're going to be as effective as if you have a setup where you can hit a real ball. But at the end of the day, it really just comes down to what your goals are, what you're able to do, your space limitations, all of that stuff. And then it's also going to be, all right, what are your financial limitations? That's obviously a consideration when you are putting together all these setups. All right, so then the next question is online coaching. What is that like? What does that look like? Because I know there's a lot of people leery of that. And so I get that. It's, hey, am I going to be able to get that in-person connection and things like that and have somebody show me what is going on? So here is why I like online coaching. I do online coaching for my game, and I will not do online coaching unless I go actually meet my coach, just because I like him and I want to go talk to him and stuff. But here's what online coaching for me is. It's what I always wanted my lessons to be back in the day. So here's what happened when I would take an in-person lesson. And I find this to be true for a lot of people. And you see a lot of business models in this industry for lessons built on this, that they know you are going to need to take a lesson, and then you're going to go start practicing this stuff, and you're going to have a question. You're going to have questions, and you're going to need to go back. So the most successful business, you probably can tell who it is, the biggest lesson giving business in our industry, they are based around that fact. They know you're going to come back. They want you to come back. They don't want you to get better per se and then go and never come back, right? Like they want you, they know that you're going to need to come back and back and back. So what happens is when you're doing online coaching, for me, that gives you the opportunity to have connection with the coach. And so for me, what I like is when I work with my coach, I will send him swings. We work on those swings. I do Zoom call with him to answer any questions, go over anything. And it's his chance to see me do this live and say, hey, this is what's going on. And then after that, I get to send him, hey, what do you think? How's this going? How's this going? And for me, that is the perfect setup for how to get better, because when I go practice, I can do it really well, and all of my students, they can do it really well when I'm there. But what happens when you go try this? Day one, all right, hey, things are still pretty good. Day two, it's okay. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm still doing it. Day three, all right, that doesn't feel the same. Am I doing it? Am I not? Oh man, I have no idea. And then it starts this cycle of things where we're just kind of guessing, and that's not going to work. So my lesson experience that I wanted as a kid is now possible because of online coaching. There's not all the costs when you go into work with somebody that is at a facility. Part of the reason lessons are expensive is facilities are taking a lot of that money now. That's part of it. There is knowledge, all that stuff, but they are taking a good portion, sometimes 30% of what is that lesson. And so that's part of it. And now with these online tools, it's so much cheaper, and we can still get the information across, and you actually get more access to your coach. That's what it's all about to me. That's what I want, and that's how I like to do things, because we get to make sure you're staying on track and not let you drift when you are in between lessons somewhere in that improvement process. So that's what we like to do. That's why I like the coaching programs. That's how I've designed my coaching programs. And when I was looking for a coach myself, that's what I was looking for, somebody that was going to accommodate me on that and doing things like that. So again, that's what I think about it. If you're somebody that's kind of on the fence about it, whether you're going to, I'd love to have you and help you out with your game, check out our programs down below. But if you're looking for any coach, that's what I think about it. And if you're kind of on the fence, I do think it's the way things are going to be going, and I think you could be highly effective. And honestly, I like it better. So that's my thoughts on it. So again, those are some questions I get them a lot. So I thought, very cool. Dale sent them in together, and I was like, hey, I'm just going to address them both because so many people are emailing me about it. So that's my thoughts on it, on the space, online coaching. You got the Garmin R10, that's coming up. We'll have that video on Wednesday. Don't miss it. Click that subscribe button. And as always, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks everybody for watching. Peace.